Yay, happy Monday, Inspire Beauty. Happy day before launch day. It's a launch week. And it's always a good time to get on board when a launch happens. I'm going to let Kristen really take it away with all that here in a second. But you guys, waves in this business, momentum in this business, there's moments where it comes and it goes. There's moments where the entire network is on freaking fire, and on the national wake-up call, you're seeing people left and right being celebrated for new ranks and their business is growing and momentum gained. And then there's moments where there's just an ebb and a flow to everything, right? And these are the moments, though, that bring us back out of those. Yeah, that's where the pendulum swings. So I'm so excited for tomorrow. Make sure that you're marking your calendars. Another event that I added last minute, there's actually two major events for tomorrow that you want to get in on. Number one, at 11 a.m. Central, I'm going to be doing a pop-up power hour live on the collab. You can just join me live over there, or you can get on Win the AM with me. I'm actually not going to make it a full hour. I'm going to do it 45 minutes because right after that at noon Central is when we're going to be logging into Win the AM for a live body workout with Autumn. She's going to be doing 45 minutes, 4 weeks of the nope. I almost said 4 weeks of the prep, 4 weeks for everybody. There we go. Some things just roll off the tongue. 4 weeks for everybody. And she's also going to be doing a live Q&A for Gut Protocol. So if you do have questions about Gut Protocol, you can head to her Instagram stories. There's a question box she put up there today. You can drop them in there and she'll be answering them live on that class. So that's also happening tomorrow. So you can come hang with me from about 11 to about 1 Central tomorrow. And then don't forget that there is new coach kickoff call or new coach mentorship for March. Anybody who's in our pod for the month, we're having just a little roundtable chat from 5:30 to 6 tomorrow night as well. So there won't be formal power hour tomorrow night. Enjoy your evenings off. Maybe have some Taco Tuesday with the ones you love. And then yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Once you get your stuff tomorrow, make sure that you're ringing the bell, make sure that you're celebrating it. And it's going to be so good. I've watched Kristen. The reason why I was like, Kristen, I need you to speak on this right before, like literally the day before launch, because when I go back in the archives, and I'm sure she's going to walk you through this, but when we go back in time and we look at Kristen's journey as a coach, launches of programs are always the catalyst for movement in her business. And when her business is very steady, you guys, and that's something that she's worked on for a long time to get to a very consistent cadence in her business. But the big burst, the big momentum pushers, when all of a sudden there's just more energy around the fire, it's always because she leveraged a launch to do that. She didn't wait for the launch to help her business. She went out and made sure that she was doing everything she could to make the launch as great as possible, right? So, Kristen, I'm just going to mute myself. I'm going to let you take it away, sis. We've got a good call tonight.
Awesome, ladies. I'm so excited to share with you. I am going to share my screen. Let's see how this goes. Okay, can you guys see that? Okay, let me put it in present mode. Yes. Okay. All right, ladies. So yes, as Britt said, latching on to these big launches are definitely key to just be around the fire, to find that inspiration and that excitement. But I also want to tell you that when I look back on my journey, what really launched my business was T20, was Shaun T. And I will tell you that I did not have a day on launch day that I made this happen. It was actually after it had launched, but it was one of those weird timings where it launched, but we were waiting to have our VIP group, after the new year, kind of like we did with 9 Week Control Freak, get everybody excited, get them in the group, and then we're going to start, right? So I had time to launch my business at any point during that time frame is how I saw it. But literally, you guys, take the launch aside. If you're excited about something, you can launch your business any freaking day that you want. It can be a Wednesday where you're just feeling so freaking inspired of what you have to share, and that light bulb goes off and you have that aha moment. You're like, oh my God, why haven't I been doing this? You could launch your business that day. definitely launch your business on a launch day. That's going to give you even more fuel to that fire. So I don't want you to think that like you can only launch your business on the day that something launches. That can be any day. So take what I'm going to share with you guys tonight and apply that how you will. But like I'm going to challenge you to step outside your comfort zone and do it with this one. Because we know that Autumn doesn't put out a bad program. Like we've had success with Autumn's programs. I'm sure all of us have in some shape or form, right? So we know that it's going to be huge. And I think even just hearing her talk on the National Wake Up Call today was like fire to me. Her and Carl, like, going back and forth. And it's just seeing their excitement for it and knowing just how long she's been working on this, like before 9-week control freak, like you guys, that was last year. And like, probably 2 years that she was working on that. So this has been a lot of time in the making into something that affects so many of us. So like whatever that thing is within this program that you can get behind, whether it's the low impact workouts or it is the gut health for yourself or someone close to you, like whatever that piece is of the program, like latch on to that. Okay. Like latch on to that. If you look back in other like programs that we've done, 9-week control freak, it was like the 20-minute workouts, right? Like we need short workouts, quick in the morning, like in and out the door. Same thing with job one, right? Like what is the thing that you can like pull from that your people are struggling with currently and that you too are struggling with? So that's what I want you guys to kind of think about, especially as we like go through this tonight, but even afterwards, like what's that pain point for you that many others are also struggling with? Because that's how you're going to get people on board with you. So let's walk through what we're going to talk about tonight. We've got a couple of things, and the beginning part I'm going to kind of go like fast through because we are going to take some time to actually work on that invite tonight. I want you guys to actually work on that part. But we're going to talk about borrowing belief. We're going to talk about creating that space, making your list. Hopefully y'all made a list since last week, crafting your invite and sending that invite. Okay. So that's what we're going to walk through here. So first of all, I want to talk to you about borrowing belief. So when I look back and I was ready to launch my business during P20, y'all, I looked at Britt and I looked at Leah. Why did I look to them? Because they were where I wanted to be. I wanted to be close to the fire. I wanted to help others get healthy. I wanted to have that excitement that they had. I wanted to rank advance like they were. I wanted all those feelings like that they were sharing, in the excitement on the team page about. And I was like, like literally, if they could do it, like, why couldn't I? Like, I can do this. And I didn't have the belief in myself that I could work the business. Because when I joined, and you guys have heard this before, I did not join to work this business, as I'm sure you didn't either. But once you get into it and you start your journey and you see how powerful it is for you, it just makes you want to share it with other people. And you truly see it as a gift, right? That we can give to somebody else. Like what better thing to give than like health and wellness, right? So I want you to find that person, whether it's in our own team, maybe it's somebody else that you like look up to in the Beachbody world, or just somebody that inspires you, but borrow that belief. And then I want you to look at what they are doing. What are they doing day to day that you can implement in your life and be that woman? Act as that woman as you are already there, right? So surround yourself with those people. Look at what they're doing. Borrow their belief to get to where you want to go. And it's going to take baby steps. It's not going to happen overnight, right? We know that. But the more you put it into practice on a day-to-day basis, the more you're going to believe in your own self, and you're going to be able to just run with it and have that inspiration for yourself. And then you're going to pass it on to somebody else, right? So borrow that belief. Find somebody that you are confident in. Know what you are confident in this business. Like what part of your journey fires you up? Is it like that you love the workouts? Is it that you love this community and you love how we get together, for book clubs on Saturday and like little things, we do spin rides and like what is it that you are confident in that like without a drop in water, like you could just talk to somebody on end about what you love about this team, about this journey that you've been on, and latch onto that and run with that. Like, how can you spin that in different ways and find different ways to share that? So borrow it from somebody that's got it now. Find what you're confident in your journey now, and run with it. Next, we're going to talk about creating your space. So this was huge for me. When I first moved back from travel nursing, I was living with my sister and her husband. And I knew that I wanted to like sit down and work the business, but I didn't really have space at their house, like where I felt like, I'm not going to lie, I felt like I had to be like a little sheltered because I didn't really want them to know what I was doing. I don't know if you guys have felt that way, but you're like, oh, what's my family going to say, right? Like we worry about what other people are going to say. So I had to find my space in where I could get this work done. So what I did was I looked at my calendar, looked at my schedule for work, and was like, okay, I have this day off and I can block from, 1 to 4 o'clock. I'm going to go and get some work done. So I chose a time, like pick your time block. And then I was like, well, I obviously need a place. Like, I don't feel comfortable here in my sister's house doing this. And there's too many, other things that I could be multitasking on at the same time. I need to go somewhere where it's just me and work. Right. So for me, that was a coffee shop. I needed something that was like a little hustling and bustling to get me like inspired and like ready to work and see other people there doing the same thing. But I didn't need like peace and quiet or something like that. But that might be you. Maybe you need the peace and quiet. Maybe you want to sit here with like candles lit and like pump up music going, or like Zen music going, like whatever that is, but find a place that you're going to feel comfortable in to get some work done. That kind of goes with setting the mood. Like make sure that you're in an atmosphere that is going to be conducive to what you want to do. And then you need to just have your plan and get to work. So get to that place, get out all your stuff. Like I literally walked into it was like a collectivo, I think here. And I had my iPad and I had my notebook with my list of people that I had already written down. And literally you guys were going to talk about that, but I just went through Facebook, wrote a whole like 2 pages of names down, and I sat down and I got to work. I even remember, I think I messaged Leia that I was at the coffee shop, and I was like, I'm going to send out, my goal is 100 invites. And I was like, what did I just say? Like, I don't know what I'm thinking. I'm like crazy right now. But seriously, make sure that your space is conducive to the kind of work that you want to get done and is going to make you feel comfortable. And it's also going to excite you, because it's not, if you're not in the right mindset and you're not in the right mood or the place, you're not going to feel it. And trust me, your people on the other end of that invite can feel that. They can feel when you're energized and excited. They can also feel when you're like, I'm just doing this because I'm told that this is what I should do to launch my business, right? They can feel that. So create your space. So making your list. This is huge because there's strategy to inviting. When I first started, my strategy was really, I went through my Facebook A to Z, and that's how I started. I started going through all my A's, and I looked at people that I knew would support me and that had some inkling towards a healthy lifestyle. So that looked like people like paramedics and nurses that I worked with that I knew were like active. They were like maybe runners, like whatever. They were just into health and wellness. Travel nurses that I met, people like that. Like that's who I looked at to like put on that list to like get me started. And don't get me wrong, I know we say we shouldn't make that decision for people, right? Like just put them on your list and send that invite. But when I first got started, I was more scared in that sense, I guess. I wanted to go right to the people that I knew would be supportive of it, or at least had like the mindset of living a healthy lifestyle, and that I could offer them something different. So that's who I looked for in my list. And that's how I created my list. As I've grown, I've started to look at obviously the people that are at my table now. So are my coaches taken care of? Are my people that are my customers Have I invited them personally? It's one thing for us to send out an email, you guys, or, like this mass text that we're going to send out. But I also like to check in with them personally and be like, hey, I know I just sent you this message, but I really want to pop in here personally and make sure that you know that I want you to join us, for X, Y, and Z reasons. So just something so that they know that it's a little bit more personal, because they are the ones that we've already helped maybe before, or that are currently, in our groups with us. So make sure that you're taking care of those that are here with you now. And then I look to those that are MIA. So those might be people that, joined me last year with 645 and now they've fallen off the wagon, haven't really heard from them in a while. So I'm going to kind of reach out again, see where they're at in their journey, re-involve them and see if this would be something that would be interesting to them. Once you guys are like working your business and stuff, you've probably heard us talk about, but you get assigned customers through Beachbody. So when people go on and they just sign up through Beachbody on demand and they don't have a coach, like, sending them a share card or whatever, they just get assigned a random Beachbody coach. So as you start hitting, I believe it's once you hit Emerald, you start getting these customers. So making sure that you are checking that on a weekly basis to get in the habit of it, so that as you grow your business, it's not something like, oh my God, now I've got all these people that I haven't been serving for so long. So look at those assigned customers in your back office too. It's easy to tell when you guys get into that back office part. If you go on the left side, it says like new customers, and you can look for like the last 7 days, the last 30 days, 90, whatever it is in the filter. But that's where I go on a weekly basis just to see who else I can help this week on their journey. Renewals are huge. If you guys have helped somebody on their journey and you know that that BOD renewal is coming due, that is a huge one. That's like a huge win right there. Like go to them and, sell them on this, as to why you think it would help them, because you're their coach. So you probably have heard their struggles. So go to them and pitch this to them, and, joining the VIP group, being with a group of people to do it all on their, with us. So renewals are huge. And then of course you just have your new invites, which they can feel like cold invites, or they can feel like they're still your warm market, but you've never invited before. Me personally, I look at it as like when I launched my business, I felt like everything was a cold invite. Like I knew that I knew these people, but like I was inviting them to something that they didn't even know that I did, like I was just starting my business. And sure, I put that in my, my message or whatever, like, hey, I'm starting this new journey as a coach, and, it's all about health and wellness, whatever. But that can feel like a cold invite, even though those people. So I know we talk about like warm market and cold market a lot, but if you've had some connection with them, like they're technically warm market, right? You just might not have invited them yet. So make that list. Like there's a lot of options for you to pull people from, right? And even if you look at it as, maybe some customer has joined you with one product, but this, like we know the 4-week gut protocol requires other products, like help them try something new, like energize and recover probably aren't going to be like the things they need for this one. We know that. So talk to them about why these other supplements are so good, right? So look at things like that too, for when you're getting people into your groups and trying to help them on their journey. Don't just think that because what they started with is the only thing that they can continue with. Whereas it's just like us as a coach, right? Like we try as much as possible so that we know how to talk to it with our customers and how to help our coaches and customers the same way. So do the same for them. All right. So here's where we're going to get into the meat and potatoes here of actually crafting your invite. So there's a couple of pieces that, we can talk about that go into crafting an invite. And I went out and I was like, you know what? Like we do lots of invites. We do baby shower invites. We do wedding invites, wedding shower invites, like birthday parties, housewarming, like, but for some reason, right, this invite seems daunting, right? Like it seems crazy, but it's just like any other party that you're having. Like if you want them to come to the party, you need to ask them, you need to invite them, because otherwise they don't know. And they won't even say no because you didn't even ask, right? So think of it in the party situation that You want as many of your close friends to come and join you for this as possible, but you've got to invite them first. So when we look at there's 4 parts to an invite. The first part being the intro. So, hey girl, hey love, how you doing? Happy Monday, happy hump day, like whatever you want to throw in there. If it's been a while since you've talked to this person, like I personally like to throw in like either a compliment or acknowledge what I've seen that they've been up to. Like if they've been on a trip, like, oh my God, your trip to Mexico looked amazing. Like, what was your favorite thing to do? Or something, just to know that like that I've been watching their journey and I'm not just like popping in like, with something that doesn't feel right? Because we know if it feels icky, then it's probably icky, right? So however it's going to feel to you. So I like to throw something like that in there. The second part is really the group details. So provide some brief details, what the group is going to be about, what it's going to be addressing, why you think that it would help them, throw in some of their struggles that they've told you, or what you've struggled with and how you think it might help them. Number 3, the time frame. When are you closing enrollment, or when does the group start? How many people are you taking in? If you only want 5, like make sure you say, I'm only taking 5 people, or, whatever. And then clearly at the end, you want that call to action. You want to tell them how you want to RSVP. Otherwise, they're just going to be like, thumbs up, hearts, love it, cool, thanks. And you're going to be like, what do I do with that? Right? So clearly tell them, like, if you tell them, give me a thumbs up, then you're going to send them info. And like, then it's just whatever if they didn't read that part. But tell them, like, message me back if you want me to send you details or whatever it is for that RSVP, but make that clear, because otherwise you both can be like, so what do I do with this? So make it clear. So I have a couple of sample invites here. These are ones that Britt and I send, and I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of guidance, because we're going to take maybe like 5-10 minutes to just like work on an invite so that you guys are all prepped and really ready to go, whether you do a power hour yet tonight and you start inviting, or you like do it tomorrow when it launches, right? So the first one here, hey love, happy Monday. Want to pop in because I'm prepping a VIP group for a brand new program launching that's focused on food and how it makes us feel. It's going to be 4 weeks and I'm only taking a small group of gals to do this with me. And I thought of you because XYZ, throw in their struggles, no pressure at all, but would you be interested? I'd love to send you all the deets. And then number 2, hey girl, happy Monday to you. I want to pop in here real quick to keep you in the loop with what's going on this month. I'm getting a VIP group started for a brand new program that's focused on gut health, right up my alley, LOL. It's a 4-week program. We start the end of March, and I'd love to have you join us. Would you be interested at all? I'd love to send you more info if you are. So I can copy those into the chat. I'm going to stop sharing my screen here for a second while we just kind of work. But I want to see, do you guys have any like questions leading up to any of this so far that you want me to answer, like before we craft our invite? And these invites don't have to be obviously long. Like you saw that was just something like quick and simple. So, okay. I'm going to read through what you guys have in the chat, but I want you, would it be helpful? Do you guys want me to leave up the invites, or should I put them in the comments that you can see while you work?
I'd like it in the comments if you don't mind.
Yep. Sure can. Okay. All right. So I popped those in the comments for you guys. And I think we'll just take like 5 minutes or so, 5-10 minutes. We'll see how long you guys need. But I just wanted you guys to like kind of, whether it's in your notes section on your phone or on paper, like however you want to write out your invite, but it's something that you would feel comfortable using with the launch of 4-week gut protocol. I guess I should ask, is everybody doing 4-week gut protocol for the most part? I know Amanda, you're not. Okay. All right. So I would like, let's make this geared towards obviously 4-week gut protocol then, because that's what we're all going to be inviting to tonight, tomorrow, this week. And remember, a launch doesn't end just on like launch day. Like this launch is going to go far beyond. So this will be an invite that you can then use and then just tweak as different as you have like different BOD groups going on in different launches coming up. It would be something that you can just tweak each time according to that. So let's just take like, we'll say 5 to 10 minutes. We'll see how we're doing at 5. And if you guys need a few more minutes, and then I'm just going to kind of the comments here and look at those while you guys work. Okay, how we doing, ladies? That was 5 minutes. Do we need a few more? Are we good?
Sorry, I was waiting for somebody else to chime in. I wouldn't mind a couple more minutes, but
Okay.
if you need us to keep going, we
No.
can. I can do this later.
Nope, you're good. We'll do a couple more. Anybody have any questions as they're working on it?
For this one, since these invites are specific to gut protocol and it's launching tomorrow, if they come back and say they're interested, would you just send them the sample workout? Or, I mean, I know I have like the template from the team page of what I usually send if they say they're interested, but I feel like this needs to be more specific and more of a condensed time frame, I guess, because it's launching tomorrow. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I think that the workout is definitely like a good starting place. But at that same time, while you're waiting for them to like try the workout, I think you did a reel last week, didn't you? You said on like the gut health stuff. So I didn't see it, but did it share like the symptoms and whatever I'm guessing is what was in it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had like bloating,
Yep.
irregularity, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then
So
I talked about my stories today too.
yeah. So that's where I'm like waiting for them to try the workout. I would have that conversation on the whole gut health aspect of it in the meantime to keep the conversation going. Like I have a girl that's not going to try the workout until Wednesday morning, but like she's going to be graduating as a nurse. So like we can relate in that aspect because she's seeing it a lot at the bedside. And so we've had that conversation a lot of like in regards to our patients. And now after she responds this next time, I'm going to be like, so like, do you have any of these struggles? Like, I'm going to kind of like bring it back to like, just like me and her conversation, but I'm not going to wait until she tries the workout. Right. Cause there's a lot of other stuff that we can talk about in the meantime. So I would fill that airspace with gut health talk.
Okay. So like ask them, do you have any issues related to your gut health? Like, I don't know. I talked a lot about psoriasis in mine, even though I know we can't say it's a cure, but that's one thing like I'm really anxious to see how it improves. Because I've done a lot of reading on how just adjusting your diet can help your symptoms. So that's one thing I'm pushing. At least for me, I'm going to take like a lot of before pictures of my psoriasis symptoms and then hopefully have some really good results to show at the end too. But that's one. So like just ask them, do you have any gut health issues?
Well, I mean, I would go back to like that reel that you did. You put in like all the different symptoms like that we know gut health can help with, I'd be like, hey, I don't know if you saw my reel or not. Hint, hint. But this program is going to be helping, people address a lot of different issues, things like A, B, C, D. Do you have any of those? That's what I would do. I would just make it real raw and you.
Yeah, I like giving them examples. I hate to leave it like a blanket. And then they say, well, what do you mean by gut health? Because then I feel like I'm going to get a lot of literal poopy conversations. No, I want to do it.
I'm going to chime in too, Kristen, if that's okay. So you guys, when someone says they want more information, and most all of you guys have been on calls where I've gone through invite process. If you haven't been on the invite process call because you're newer, like we'll get that in your hands. I don't want you to stress, right? Like there's so many different levels on this call. So I don't want anyone to feel overwhelmed, but specifically to anybody who knows about the invite process, what is the thing that I am going to ask for the second somebody says, yes, they'd like more information? Does anybody want to just unmute and say it?
Email.
Yeah, thank you. So guys, I literally have 4 share carts set up already. And 1, 2, 3, I'm waiting on their Shakeology flavors because I asked for their email And then in the email that I literally have for you on the collab, there's a Google form that they fill out. And in that Google form, it asks what symptoms they have. So you don't even have to go through poop talk, y'all. They're going to check off if they feel bloated. They're going to check off. And then when you email them back, you can address the specific things they've talked about and how you're excited to see how food will impact that potentially, right? And that's the kind of dialogue we can have. But remember, you don't need to word vomit everything, right? You have resources that will literally do this work for you. What Kristen's getting you to do today is rip the Band-Aid and see how many freaking people you can get that email to. The safety is in numbers, y'all. The numbers have to be on your side. So let's stop worrying so much about what we have to say, because you do know what to say. It's already been given to you. Instead of worrying so much about that, worry about the invite that you're crafting right now. And then what are you going to go do with it is find the space that Kristen's talking about and get it in as many hands as possible, right? Yeah. Okay. Kristen, do you want to keep rolling with us?
Yeah. So I'd love to, does anybody want to share the invite that you came up with, or maybe type it in the comments? I would love to hear what other people came up with, just so other people can hear besides what Britt and I shared. Anybody?
I can share mine.
Okay.
All right. I said, hey, insert name. Happy Monday. I hope you're enjoying the beautiful weather we've been having. I wanted to pop in to keep you in the loop as I'm getting some ladies together for a special VIP group this month, and I thought of you. It's 4 weeks focused on our gut health and basically feeling our best from the inside out. We're starting at the end of March, and I'd love for you to do this with me. Would you be at all interested?
I love it. Right to the point. Yes. Like you addressed them. You told them about a little bit about the group. You didn't like word vomit. You told them the time frame, and you clearly told them what you wanted in response. So yeah, I love that. And it doesn't have to be super long, right? Like that's great. Awesome. Okay, thanks for sharing. All right, I'm gonna go back to sharing my screen. Can you guys see that? Yeah, okay. All right, so now you guys get to send it. Okay, so this is where, like, I know a lot of this, like leading up to it, has probably felt like you've been taking action, right? Like, oh my God, I got to figure out a time and a place, and I got to get like in the right mindset, and I got to make this invite. But literally that's all like the prep work up to actually taking the action. I want you to look at those as like, all these are like little steps, like building up to like getting at the top, and you're ready to just like send this to as many freaking people as you can, because you want people to join you. So put it to good use. Like I said in the beginning, like if you don't invite anybody, nobody's going to come, because they didn't even know what was going on. They didn't even know you were having a party. So that they can't even respond, right? So the more you get it out there, the more eyes you're going to have on it. And even if they say no, and I know we say this all the time, but the more people you have say no is going to get you closer to that yes. And it is so true. Speaking of numbers, when we were just talking about that and in the chat, it is a numbers game. When I look back at my journey and my first launch with T20, you guys, I went to the coffee shop on December 18th of 2018. So over halfway through the month. And I sat down with that list and crafted that invite and sent it to well over 100 people. I know that because that's how many I had in my notebook. And I helped 5 people that month. 5 people in the last 12 days before Christmas, y'all. Before Christmas. So tomorrow's the 15th, halfway through the month. There's plenty of time for you guys to help people this month yet. This month is not over. It hasn't even really begun yet. Like, I feel like it's just been like a crazy, all of a sudden, like we're getting into warmer weather, and then like the time just seems to fly by, right? But it's only the 15th. You have plenty of time to make this plan. So like I said, if it's not tomorrow, if like your launch day isn't tomorrow, I hope it is, but if it's not, it could be Friday. It could be Sunday, like whatever that day is for you guys, but pick a day to launch your biz with this and just get to work. Put this invite to work, get that list out and send it. Okay. So the last thing, we talked a lot about, I saw a lot in the comments about, how we're all borrowing belief. We all are borrowing belief, right? Like Britt's borrowing from other people and we're looking to Britt and other people. And like, you guys are looking up to some of us. Like there is never going to be a time that you aren't going to borrow belief or confidence from somebody else to get where you want to be. Because this whole time, like we're trying to work towards that, right? To be better and everything. But there's not really a sense of like arrival. And then we stop. Like we keep going. So there's always like, who can I look to for this? And like, who do I admire in this sense? And like, who inspires me, in this part of my life? Like we're always going to be borrowing that belief and that confidence from somebody. My question to you is, when you know that you have people behind you that are confident and have belief in you, doesn't that make you like sit up straighter and like walk more with confidence? Because you've got like a really kick-ass team behind you that's got your back no matter what. So when you sit down to work, I want you to walk in like an owner. Walk in like you are owning your business, like you are the CEO of your business, because you are, and because we are all behind you. I actually heard this quote. I have to share where this came from. And it was like a very magical moment yesterday in church. But this was part of the sermon. He said, you know what? We have God behind us. How can we not walk confidently? Because he is behind us. He always has our back. He will never let us fall, right? So we walk with confidence because we know he's back there. And I want you guys to walk with confidence because we are back there. We are all behind you. We are all there to support you and help you. We aren't going to let you fall. Like we've got you. You just need to lean in and really just rip that Band-Aid and own this business and share it with other people, because you have something beautiful to share, all in our own way, all in our own way. But you have to be the one to sit down and truly own it. And so that's what I've got for you guys tonight.
So good. You guys, so it sparked in me when she was breaking down like how to craft an invite. I really hope that was a aha, eye-opening moment for you, because even 8.5 years in the business, I was like, well, there is a method to this freaking madness. Acting like I don't know that, but I need somebody like Kristen to remind me of these. This is how we do it. That's how every time you sit down and you write a new invite, you're doing these same steps. You don't have to overcomplicate it. So I hope you guys saw if you scroll upward a little bit, I dropped a little Google Doc link. Click on that and just have it open on your browser. You don't need to look at it right now. And it talks specifically about, this is on a national wake-up call, but it's really piggybacking on this process that Kristen helped you guys walk through. And it's the PB&J method. That's what she called it, this coach who was on the national wake-up call. And she basically taught us how to create an invite using a peanut butter and jelly sandwich as the imagery. So that's what you're doing. Instead of just saying, join my boot camp, right? You want to do this. There's a process so that you sound human and that you don't come across icky or salesy. I love that. This business is a business of duplication. And so when she's talking a lot about borrowing belief, and looking at people who are where you want to go, the direction you're trying to go, or have reached the goals that you're trying to reach, it really is a business of duplication. And I've talked about this before, but you've got to start looking left and right and saying, okay, how can I match that? How can I do it in my own way? And then have the courage to go and execute. So I hope that tonight's call is you truly now have all the tools in your hand. There has not been a stone in this launch unturned. I'm actually like so proud of our leadership on this team for this launch, because we've come together. Ashley gave stories, giving us all the stuff for gut protocol and breaking down symptoms and everything. And she poured those stories at us. And there's been emails that you guys have been able to breadcrumb, and, Kristen coming in and helping you guys craft an invite. So you literally, last week, we talked about how to make an invite list off Facebook and look strategically at the warm market. And there hasn't been a stone unturned. The only stone that's not unturned yet is you taking action. So this is the kind of call that I hope you're fired up right now to be like, okay, like I got to set the mood right. I got to like light a candle, drink some Jais, put some jams on, and actually execute all these things that we've been leading up to this moment for, and just keep executing. Just keep executing. If gut protocol isn't the right program for them for X, Y, or Z reason, or it's not the right program for you, there's still other things to invite to, right? And so none of this has to be like, well, I can't do it because of gut protocol, or I can't do it because they said no to, right? That's so silly. There's a community out there, and there are people out there that need this community so desperately. And it's our job to be the ones to reach our hands out and now start to bring them in the way that somebody else did for you. Thank God my coach showed up on social media and reached her hand out, because I wouldn't be here face to face with you guys if she had just thought, I'm too worried about what they're going to think, or maybe she doesn't want to join this, right? Like, thank God she didn't let that get to her. And so now it's our turn to pay that forward. Kristen, do you have anything else for us?
I don't think so. I think really, you guys, as I, look back on the journey, and I didn't really talk too much about it like Britt did in the beginning of like, when I look at my business and like when it's like really taken off with some of the launches, like MBF was when it really launched. That's when I started this 20-month run of Success Club, was because I was getting people fired up for MBF. 2 programs, 3 weeks long, 30 minutes. I latched onto those key points, those pain points that I knew people were going to love. Like, oh my God, 30 minutes. Yes, I want that. Oh my God, it's only 3 weeks and I'm going to get results. I want that. So like whatever that is for you during these launches, I think that's huge. Like Leah, you said like the thing with psoriasis, like that's really getting you, like whatever piece of the new program is that's launching that is getting you fired up, like that's what you need to talk about then, because that's going to relay over to everybody else. Like they're going to feel that excitement. But if you're like, oh yeah, it's a 45-minute workout, 6 days a week, like, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I want you to do it with me. No, they're not going to be into that. Like you have to find your excitement. Like that is so key, because they really can feel that on the other end of that invite. So whatever it is for you, latch onto it, put that piece of it in your invite, and just rip the Band-Aid and send as many as you can. Like literally, I know that there was people like Bridget, I know you said it was like, I feel like everything is a cold invite, and everything felt like that to me too, because it had been, 2-3 years since I had talked to some of those people when I left my nursing job to go travel nurse. But I was like, I know these people though, like I know them. So I didn't feel bad sending them something, because they knew that I loved health and fitness then. I know that they love it. Like, and now I'm sharing that I'm taking another path in life, and I want them to come with me. So it's going to feel new in the beginning, but when you find that piece of it that you relate to and correlate with, it's just going to pour over, and they're going to hear your excitement, so that it's not going to feel awkward.
Yeah.
So whatever that excitement is for you though, like that's what you need to like latch onto and like share.
Yes. And I'm just loving the energy in the chat and everything. You guys like cling to that energy. Get on the surfboard and ride the wave with us. Okay. It's going to be a lot of fun. Somebody on the National Wake Up Call recently talked about speaking to people as if like you're speaking to your grandmother. Right. And so I think about it like that. You keep hearing me say phrases like, I want to feel good from the inside out. I want to see how food makes me feel. I'm literally talking to a kindergartner when I say that. I want to see how food makes me feel. That is the dumbed down basic of 4-week gut protocol. If you're like, what's it about? I want to see how food makes me feel. And so if you don't have a one-liner yet of like, and you feel like, gosh, it's so scientific. Like, I'm not Kristen. I don't work with nasty guts all day like she does. She literally looks at digestive tracts all day. Like like Kristen could come in and tell somebody a thing or two about gut health. I just know what I know. And I know that food makes me feel good sometimes when I eat certain things, and sometimes I don't feel so good. And so I'm really curious about learning more about how food makes me feel. So guys, if you don't have a phrase yet, if you don't know how to talk about this program yet, practice that line. I want to see how food makes me feel. It's simple.
And Britt, I think that's key that you said that, because Ashley and I actually had this conversation too recently. But we throw a lot of jargon out there, and jargon can be in any form that you look at it. Like if you go in and you're saying that, in my challenge group, like I want you to, you know, like if we're using like that terminology, they don't understand that. Like just join my group. Like it's a fitness group, you know, like say it very basically, because even like in medical terms, like I don't like talking to people that way, because even like my patients don't understand. Like I think Ashley and I had a really funny conversation about that. Like I'm not even going to say it, but you know, I could walk into a patient's room and like tell them what I saw on their electrocardiogram and that their T waves were peaked, and that means that their potassium is high. Does that mean anything to them? No, I'm going to say your heart is just acting a little funny right now. You know, I mean, so take that all out, like take that away. Like, don't think that because I'm a nurse, like that I have any better way to say it. How does it make sense to you? And like, say it in the terms that you would talk to somebody about it with.
I think it's just like when we go anywhere, you don't want somebody to talk to you like they're the most brilliant person in that subject using all the jargon, because we're not going to get anything from that. So if we're talking, just like you said, and Brett, I say it all the time, dumb it down. And I'm not saying that to be disrespectful. I'm saying that because when I walk in or a nurse comes talking to me or a doctor, I want them to dumb it down for me. Tell me so I understand what you're talking about. And we need to do that for everybody else.
Yeah, I agree. And I just think that it's important too to be looking at, if you've never talked about gut health ever, and all of a sudden you're like jumping on this bandwagon about gut health, it's going to come off awkward to your followers, I think, right? And so for me, I've actually in voice memo format been like, you know what's crazy? This is as I'm giving out the sample workout, I'll come in with a voice memo and be like, you know, I'm giving you the sample workout and I'm really excited about it because it's a bonus feature. But the main part of this program and what we're really digging into is how food's going to make us feel. Yeah. And I'm actually really curious to see how my body reacts, you know, to removing certain foods and whatnot, and just see how it makes us feel. But you know, what I realize is that food impacts like our energy, it impacts our sleep, and I'm just like, right. So that's how I'm speaking to people when I'm talking about this. But I'm not using words like gut health. And even when I'm talking about, you know, again, in these voice memos, I'm like, normally I focus on fitness first in my groups and then nutrition follows. And for the first time, I'm actually really excited because in my community, we're really focusing on how food makes us feel. And that workout that I gave you is actually just the icing on the cake. So you see how I'm doing this, you guys? I don't think that the workout is the selling point, but yet that's the tool we have to give people right now. But I'm talking about I want you to, like, when I give them the sample, I'm telling them, I want you to go in with this lens that this is going to be paired with a nutritional focus surrounding you guys, everybody now, how food makes us feel, right? So I want you to like remember that when you're having these conversations, that it needs to sound like what you're about. And it's okay to say, normally my groups are about fitness, but this spring, I'm really excited to start looking at food, right? That's such a basic way of saying it versus saying like, we're going to study gut health for 4 weeks and we're going to look at prebiotics and probiotics. I don't even know what I'm saying, you guys. I'm just making words up. Like I'm reading the back of the Shakeology bag, you know? So I want you come across authentic. Yeah. Oh, I love it. Fueling foods versus fun foods. That's fun. I love that. That's so good.
Like how I think it was Carl who said, treat this professionally on the National Wake Up Call. And I really thought about that. I'm like, that's what's really going to be. I mean, pictures say 1,000 words. So that's what's really going to be a lot of proof is for me that I think that I'm going to get to share is like my psoriasis symptoms before, and I'm on medication for it and it still flares up. And then to show it after is going to be really cool. So that's what's going to help motivate me to do this like to a T, so that I can get that to show people and show people what's possible with that.
Absolutely. That's the whole, it starts with me motto, right, you guys? I mean, that's going to speak louder. So exactly on your point, and to like piggyback off of what Kristen said with like launches don't have a time frame, this launch is for you truly to even you're going to send out all the invites, you're going to see, and people are going to decide what they need to decide. At the end of the day, you can only control what you do. And so that's the fun part about this time together for the next 4 weeks, is that you get to be a walking billboard of what's possible for other people based on what you commit to, not what other people commit to or anything like that. So we're going to try to bring as many people into the party with us because it's more fun together, right? But at the end of the day, starting tomorrow, job one is ourselves. And for the 4 weeks that we're together in that group, it truly is ourselves and educating ourselves, so that after 4 weeks, now you have a leg to stand on. Now you can maybe start talking about different things other than seeing how food makes you feel, because you'll have more knowledge base to back it up and some results too. Awesome. Last thing, you guys, I got one fun announcement since you stuck around. How cool is that? Somebody said something about needing like pushes and needing something exciting. And Kristen said that, you know, we're halfway through the month, it's the 15th. And I thought, what better time than now to give you guys a little incentive to push. So does everybody remember BIZ and Bubbly? Okay, I've got something kind of like BIZ and Bubbly happening. It's a virtual reward for anyone that hits Success Club this month. And I'm going to tell you why. This month is my 60th month in a row of hitting Success Club, which marks 5 years straight. My heart is like beating through my chest saying it because I can't even believe it, right? I've looked at people, you guys say borrowing belief. I've looked at women like Julie Voris, who have paved the pathway for me to be able to do stuff like this because they hit it and celebrated themselves. And so I'm so grateful for coaches like that. But 60 months, I don't want to do it alone. I don't. I want you to hit it with me. So anyone that hits Success Club with me in March is going to be invited to a very VIP virtual event together, a la BIZ and Bubbly, kinda. But it's going to be exclusive. You're going to want in, and it only happens if you help at least 3 people. And this month, if you are, Ruby and below, you really only have to help 2 people because you're going to get a bonus point. So all my lifetime rubies and below, you're looking for 2 people, and then you are on that reward. Who's in? Who's going to push for that? Who's going to tell their people to push for that? It's going to be fun. Y'all, you want to be on board for rewards and for reward events. They change and transform your business because you just get around the energy of the team. It's everything. What is a ruby? It is literally the missing gem in Beachbody. No one knows. It's always skipped over. There is a ruby rank, Nicolette. Yes, there is a ruby rank. It's kind of like lost in the sea. It is a unicorn. Yeah, see, Annie Hunter hit ruby. That's how exotic and unique it is. One day we'll have him on the call leading, telling us how he made ruby happen. I love it. I love it. I love it.